So after last year, I'm pretty excited about this Halloween. Yeah, I know Saban has been relentlessly producing clip shows since they bought back the rights to Power Rangers in 2009 during Halloween and Christmas. Still, from amnesia-riddled Rangers to game shows, yes, that actually happened, clip shows have been a part of Power Rangers as much as team-ups. But Super Megaforce actually gets credit for having aired my favorite episode around this time in All Hail Prince Fakar. Hopefully this means Saban is scrapping the clip show formula and moving on to more important things. I'm stoked. You're tired of listening to me, so let's move on with episode 15, The Ghostess with the mostest. Oh, come on! The episode opens on Sledge's ship where Rich is working on a machine that brings Duplicon back to life. Okay. Sledge says that his bounty was worth a ton of money and tells two of his guards to take him to a cell, but Duplicon runs off even though he's got nowhere to go, Sledge even pointing out that they're in friggin' space. While that's happening, Curio is tormenting some prisoners on the cell block, which I guess he and Poisandra have completely decked out in Halloween stuff. Duplicon runs Curio over before the guards and Sledge catch up to him. Duplicon begs not to be thrown back into the cell before Sledge notices another prisoner looking at them, whom he addresses as Memorella. She knocks Sledge back with her mind beam and mocks him for being tricked by Keeper with the bomb at the beginning of the season, so Sledge orders his guards to throw both Memorella and Duplicon into deep freeze, which I'm guessing is just the recesses of space, but hey, kid show. Memorella says she can read the minds of the Rangers, Duplicon adding that he can make Memorella look like the Ranger whose memory she has, and Sledge says this is a perfect opportunity to trick the Rangers with a fake and takes complete credit for the idea. Back at the museum, Miss Morgan is getting everybody ready for a Halloween party and has elected Chase to make the Rangers' costumes. Shelby asks Chase why he made everybody ghosts, and he says he looked so good in the first one he decided to make 6 more, even picking up a mirror and looking at himself before Shelby snatches it away from him. Say, you remember in the last episode where Keeper was telling Chase that being a tool wasn't true to his heart? I'm sure that's not important now.
You're dressing up as Cupid, Miss Morgan.
It's in honor of the new Dino Cupid Charger.
Ah, and what noble purpose might that serve, Miss Morgan?
Once struck by a blast of this energy, an evil monster will fall in love with the first thing it sees.
Oh, so it'll quit fighting. That's genius.
A Cupid Charger. You people don't watch my videos, do you? Tyler tells the others they're going to be late, so the Ghost Rangers head upstairs, complete with woos. At the party, Miss Morgan is having trouble identifying each Ranger as Memorella takes advantage of the costumes to walk right past Miss Morgan and into the back where she hypnotizes one of the Rangers and leads them out the door. And thus the plot thickens. Memorella, Duplicon, and Curio take the captive Ranger to a warehouse where Memorella successfully steals the Ranger's memories, and Duplicon fits her for a disguise complete with a sheet. Back at the party, Miss Morgan gets an alert on her communicator that tells her there was a detection of alien DNA in the museum. She returns to the lab and reviews footage of one of the Rangers leaving with Memorella, immediately recognizing Duplicon and Curio. She calls the Rangers back to base, and as they fall in, Miss Morgan counts them out, saying that one of them was kidnapped and should be missing, concluding that one of them is a fake. Back at the warehouse, Duplicon leaves Curio to look after the prisoner while he goes trick-or-treating. You heard me right. Cut to Miss Morgan taking the energems out of the charging station and saying that she'll hold on to them until they find out who the clone is. Shelby asks how they plan on doing that, and Miss Morgan says she'll ask them each questions only the real Rangers would know, revealing the most sci-fi lie detector I've ever seen. Riley goes first, saying he wants to prove he's no fake, Miss Morgan instructing him on how to operate the lie detector. Miss Morgan asks how he came to find out about Tyler and Shelby's energems and how the Rangers got rid of the bomb that Wretch made. The machine concludes that Riley's real, and as Miss Morgan hands him his energem, we move to Coda. Coda is questioned about his confrontation with Slammer, showing off that awesome fight scene from Return of the Caveman, and we get to see his relationship with Peter, Miss Morgan even calling him by name. Again, the machine flashes real on the screen, so Miss Morgan hands off the blue energem. Back at the warehouse, Curio hears the prisoner Ranger snoring and says it won't hurt him to be gone for very long, and leaves as the mystery Ranger springs back to life and tries to escape. Up next we have Tyler being asked how he came to meet Chase, with Tyler going into great detail about exploring the cave his father was working on and finding his energem. Miss Morgan then asks Tyler how he knew to summon the T-Rex sword when it first appeared, which Tyler says is a trick question since the dino just showed up. Again, the computer says that Tyler's real, and up comes Chase. Chase puts his hand on the monitor only to pull it away in pain, telling the others it was just a joke. Man, Ivan was about to beat you down. Shelby says that he's obviously real, but Miss Morgan continues with their questioning, asking Chase how they beat the giant clone Fury and Duplicon. Chase mentions the Dino gas charger, telling Kendall that it was genius, but she corrects him saying it's Miss Morgan as the screen shows the real graphic, leaving us with Shelby and Sir Ivan. Back at the warehouse, the still tied up Ranger kicks off a nearby wall, and Three Stooges their way out of the chair, running off presumably back to the museum. Shelby is next in the line of questioning, I guess because we've heard Sir Ivan's backstory 3 times and the show knows that. Miss Morgan asks if Shelby's nervous, and Shelby says she just wants to get the questioning over with. Miss Morgan, in true hard fashion, goes straight for the jugular and asks why Shelby suddenly decided to be the Princess of Xandar. After stalling for a moment, Shelby says it's because she loves princesses, but Coda says that's not how he remembers it. Shelby quickly says that she loved the outfit, and Riley points out that that answer wasn't true either. Finally, Shelby says the real reason was to get the Terror Charger back. The computer says that Shelby's lying and is therefore the fake, and the other Rangers advance on her despite her pleas. Tyler asks about the real Shelby, and Coda asks Miss Morgan what they should do about the monster, but Miss Morgan says she believes her and hands Shelby her energem, saying that she isn't the monster. Suddenly, the now free Ranger falls into the lab to reveal Coda? Huh. Didn't see that coming. Shelby asks how Miss Morgan knew she wasn't the fake, and she says that Coda only ever calls her Kendall, but called her Miss Morgan twice during the questioning. Coda steps up to the clone, and the two square off for the blue energem, Coda saying that only he can stop this, and proceeds to roundhouse kick Memorella out of her clone form. Memorella then stands up and shapeshifts into a bat flying out of the lab. Sir Ivan says that she knows the location of the base, and that they must now catch a bat before the team goes after Memorella. The Rangers follow her to an industrial site where Coda leads them into the morph. Memorella calls on a squad of Viveks to help her, and Tyler shows off his T-Rex saber, destroying a good chunk of them. Sir Ivan suggests that Shelby use the new Cupid Charger, and as she blasts the remaining Viveks, she ducks out of the way, Sir Ivan holding up a mirror showing Memorella. The Viveks tackle hug Memorella to the ground, and Sir Ivan finishes her off with the Terror Saber. Sledge literally growls for the Magna Beam, and Sir Ivan says that he's got this, calling upon the Terror Charge Megazord.
Terror Charge Megazord, ready! Time to put this damsel in distress. Summon the Packazord! Dino Charger, ready! Summon Packazord! Terror Charger, engage!
Where did that thing come from? It didn't even, like, how did, what? The Rangers form the Terror Charge Megazord Packer formation to very easily take out Memorella with the Packazord Wrecking Ball. Back in space, Sledge is reprimanding Duplicon for going trick-or-treating, which he denies before Curio arrives in a pod with all the candy they got from the city. At the cafe, Shelby is working on her morpher as Tyler comes in saying they showed awesome teamwork by using the Cupid Charger. Shelby agrees but says that the Charger jammed her morpher, and as Tyler tries to help her, we get a really touching moment between the two. Tyler asks Shelby the real reason she decided to be the princess, and before she can answer, the blaster fires, hitting Chase, who's talking nearby with Sir Ivan. Riley and Coda enter, and Shelby reminds them that Chase will fall in love with the first person he sees, so the team ducks behind the counter. Chase begins sweet-talking to someone, and the crew looks up to see him talking to the mirror from earlier. Tyler says now Chase is even more in love with himself, and the episode ends with Chase kissing his own reflection. This episode is actually not bad. As clip shows go, it's pretty well handled, and it was cool to get to see some team interactions rather than focusing on one Ranger at a time. Though I do wish we had seen more of that dynamic in the fight scene. Shelby and Sir Ivan working together was really well written, despite the ridiculousness of it all. Tyler using the saber was a great opportunity to maybe have Riley get some limelight, but the episode fares without it. Memorella was actually horrifying and gave a great Halloween feel to the whole thing. I don't know, to me she seemed like something out of Insidious or The Woman in Black. That said, she wasn't much of a villain. Sure, the evil plot was pretty clever, but she needed both Duplicon and Sledge to pull it off. Speaking of, why does Wretch have a machine that can just bring monsters back to life? It just kinda happened. I don't even mind Curio's presence in the episode. His motivation is solid, and of course he'd be the only one to leave a Ranger unguarded. The actual clip show wasn't bad either. Granted, the questions were a little off. I mean, Miss Morgan wasn't around when Tyler and Shelby picked up Riley, so how would she know he was telling the truth? Same for how Tyler met Chase. She wasn't there, and even then she never asked Tyler about getting his energem. But those are really small nitpicks that aren't as bad as, I don't know, bringing in a random sword we've never seen before. Seriously, where did this thing come from? We've spent entire episodes introducing new Zords, but this thing comes out of nowhere. No charger, no energem, nothing. Was there a book that came out that I didn't read? Overall, this episode is at least entertaining, and I'd still recommend it over any of the other holiday clip shows we've gotten recently. Though the Packazord is still very head-scratching, but I guess we'll get a throwaway line about that later on. I'm Nick, aka IronBet1993, and may the power protect you.